नमो अरिहन्ताणं नमो सिद्धाणं नमो आयर्याणं नमो उवज्जायाणं नमो लोये सवसाहुणम्। जय जिनेन्द्र सभी को। So we were on chapter Upyog. Who remembers? Have we done the Gyan Upyog and Darshan Upyog? I
We have
think
to
we did
start.
all Mati
We stopped at
Kumati
types of jnanas.
That's right. That's right. Then we have even though I explained also Manaparyay, but we'll start from there. So last time किसने पढ़ा था मुझे याद नहीं है.
And also, Auntie, if you can, maybe it's part of the plan, but to cover the difference
Yeah,
between this.
we'll recap those 5 points.
Yeah.
हाँ. So हाँ, दर्शन उपयोग और ज्ञान उपयोग तो it's simple. Where is your focus? Darshan, like I said, is a very you don't identify. Gyan mein you identify. So darshan is very just the initial phase of knowing something. So ज्ञान के जो भेद उन्होंने समझाए हैं यहाँ पर वो हमने ऑलरेडी समझ लिए थे कि मति ज्ञान है पहले बिफोर एनालिसिस का ज्ञान, राइट? श्रुत ज्ञान में यू एनालाइज different ways. Either you've seen that before or this is how it reacts with this. There's all kinds of knowledge we apply and analyze something. That is Shrut Gyan. Avadhi Gyan, they can see only Pudgal. दूर कोई भी पुद्गल वो देख सकते हैं जो कि आप नॉर्मल आईज से नहीं देख पाओगे दैट डिस्टेंस. मन पर्याय अगेन ओनली मुनिराज को होता है और केवल ज्ञान तो हमें पता ही है. नाउ अब मति ज्ञान में भी सु और कु, जो मति ज्ञान आत्मा को जानने के लिए यूज हो रहा है, जब मति ज्ञान आत्मा को जानता है तो वो ट्रू मति ज्ञान है. जब मति ज्ञान आत्मा के अलावा एनीथिंग अदर देन आत्मा इज पर नॉट यू को जान रहा है, उसको कुमति ज्ञान कहते हैं. तो इन दैट सेंस वी ऑल राइट नाउ हैव कुमति कुश्रुत. ठीक है. अब अवधि ज्ञान का सेम थिंग जो नरक में होता है, जो कि इट इज यूज फॉर रॉन्ग पर्पस, दैट इज ऑल्सो कुअवधि ज्ञान. ठीक है. अवधि ज्ञान में सोल का नहीं है क्योंकि सोल इज नॉट पुद्गल. अवधि ज्ञान ओनली लुक्स एट पुद्गल. ठीक है. तो वहां सोल इज नॉट इन द पिक्चर. ओके.
And for the Shrutadhan, so the proper Shrutadhan is if you have knowledge of scripture, and if you are like reading the newspaper, that would be Kushrutadhan.
That's correct. Yes.
Anything that is not related to knowledge of the soul,
to knowing yourself. Yeah.
So exactly. Whether you're reading a textbook or a book or anything, any kind of
anything. Okay. So then we have to start from और मन पर्याय ज्ञान, वहां से शुरू करना है हमको. तो निधि जी आप पढ़ लीजिए.
प्रभा जी, ये शुद्ध ज्ञान का जो बता रहे थे आप, इसमें इज इट समथिंग दैट यू लिसन टू? आई मीन शुद्ध इज लिसनिंग, राइट?
नोइंग. दिस इज ऑल ज्ञान के भेद है ना. तो नोइंग, लिसनिंग इज ओनली अ निमित्त टू नोइंग, राइट? बिकॉज सुन के हम होता क्या है प्रोसेस जानते हैं. ठीक है ना. जानना पांचों इंद्रियों से हो सकता है. somebody touches you and you can guess who it is. You smell something and you know कि वो कौन से फ्लावर की खुशबू आ रही है. तो ज्ञान तो सभी इंद्रियों से होता है।
तो शुद्ध ज्ञान, जैसे सुकाम ने बोला कि इट्स द नॉलेज फ्रॉम द स्क्रिप्चर्स।
शुद्ध ज्ञान मतलब जो ज्ञान आपको आत्मा की तरफ, आत्मा का ज्ञान कराता है, वो शुद्ध ज्ञान। उसके अलावा जो भी है वो कुश्रुत ज्ञान।
But even Mati Dhyan and Avadhi Dhyan can be taking you to Atma also, right?
Avadhi Gyan, no. Avadhi, remember I said, what can Avadhi Gyan see? What
Pudgal.
is the definition of, yeah, it can only see Padarth.
What is the purpose of seeing Pudgal? मतलब उससे क्या होता है?
It's just an ability. Like, for example, a cat can see at night. We cannot. It's just a different ability, right?
Right, but then what's the difference between
Advantage of
Avadhi
it, right?
and
अभी
then Kuavadhi?
जैसे, right. अभी नरक और स्वर्ग, those gatis come with that ability. तो स्वर्ग के लोग भी दूर से जान सकते हैं कि दे कैन थिंक कि अभी वहां क्या चल रहा होगा, चलो देखते हैं। and they have the ability to see how far, there's a limit to how far they can see. नरक में भी सेम एबिलिटी होती है, so they can see who is doing what at from a distance, but they use it for the wrong purpose. वो लड़ने के, मारने पीटने के पर्पस से यूज करते हैं उस ज्ञान को।
So being able to see things while not being there.
Yes, exactly.
But it's still, I'm not understanding the difference between Avadhi and then Kuavadhi. So मतलब जो आप बोल रहे हैं कि जो नरक में है वो यहाँ वहाँ देख रहे हैं, that's all Kuavadhi. So what is the regular Avadhi Dhyan? That is not Kuavadhi.
Regular avdhi is that is not misused. रेगुलर अवधि जैसे अगर मुनिराज को है, समझो उनको दिख जाता है, कभी कभी मुनिराज कैन टेल यू कि वहां ये होने वाला है या वो हो रहा है। और मुनिराज को जब होता है, इफ दे डोंट themselves come out and say that I can see that, or they may not even observe that that ability has come to them. Now, if just so happens कि उनको कुछ दिख जाए, लाइक प्रयोजन भूत, तो किसी के फायदे के लिए या कोई पूछे तो बता भी सकते हैं, but they don't misuse that knowledge. That's the difference. Whereas नरक के जीव हमेशा उसको अब्यूज करते हैं।
So then what is मन पर्याय ज्ञान? Because I thought that was मुनिराज को होता है मन पर्याय ज्ञान।
हाँ, मुनिराज को ही होता है मन पर्याय, वो रेगुलर लोगों को नहीं हो सकता है। Whereas अवधि बहुत रेयर, बट श्रावक को भी हो सकता है, सम्यक दृष्टि श्रावक को भी हो सकता है।
जी प्रभा जी, लाइक मतलब जैसे किसी को देख के उनका पास्ट बर्थ और उनको जो पता लग जाए तो दैट इज अवधि ज्ञान?
नहीं, वो होता है, आई डोंट नो इफ देयर इज अ टर्म फॉर इट, बट कईयों को पिछले कई जन्म दिख जाते हैं। हो सकता है एक्चुअली, यस, आई डोंट नो इफ देयर इज अ रिक्वायरमेंट दैट इट हैज टू बी प्रेजेंट, इट मे बी पास्ट आल्सो, यस।
I just looked it up. It's
पर
equal.
पास्ट में ओनली पुद्गल दे कैन सी, so they cannot know, they can physically see कि ये person यहाँ जा रहा है या ये होगा, but they cannot understand the भाव उनके। ठीक है ना? तो जैसे कुअवधि में नरक वाले जीवों को समझो कोई और उसका रिलेटिव आया, समझो माँ ही आ गई, राइट, सम किड इज देयर और उसकी मम्मी आ गई वहां पे, राइट। कुअवधि में अनफॉर्चुनेटली he will not see the good things that the mother did to the child, but he will see the bad things that the mother did to the child, and he will not understand why, what about it. He may see that the mother scolded him or She beat him up for whatever reason, maybe he was misbehaving, whatever happened. And वो उसका बदला लेना चाहता है नरक में.
But आपने बोला था कि अवधि ध्यान is only to see Pudgal, right?
Right. तो शरीर
तो
तो दिख सकता.
But when you're saying that the bad things that the mother did, scolding, is that Pudgal?
He can see that she was hitting him, or the face expression that
But
she's
those are
holding.
like memories, though, right? They say, well,
No. This is just a view. It's like going back in the movie and being able to see.
So that
So they
basically
will not
means
see
he
what's happening in their mind or what is their thinking. They only see the visuals.
They see the visuals, yes.
तो वही हो गया ना ये प्रभा जी
It's
पास्ट
like जब
बर्थ का
हम
ही हो गया
movie देखते हैं, तो unless the director is trying to somehow get us to know what is going through the thought process of the actor, you don't know. You can only see physically what actions are happening. Right? In a mystery movie, what happens? You just see the actions happening. You don't know what's the mystery behind it till the end of the movie.
तो मन के भाव मन पर्याय ज्ञान में होता है.
हाँ, मन के भाव मन पर्याय ज्ञान में. अब मुनिराज को ऐसा हो सकता है कि उनके सामने कोई आया और उनको पता चल जाता है कि सामने वाले के दिमाग में क्या क्वेश्चन लेके आया है वो. और अच्छा है कि हम मन पर्याय ज्ञान हमें इस भूमिका में नहीं होता. If you remember, there's a movie, I don't remember the name, but there is an American movie where this guy is able to, gets this manapariyai gyan. And he is walking on the streets and he can see all these females thinking bad of somebody. And on the surface, they're being nice to that person. The Puri movie makes kind of like a comedy that, and he gets so bombarded with all this that he could hear other people, what's going on in other people's minds. I can't remember the name of the movie. If anybody has seen it, you might remember it. So
Auntie,
he
before
gets
we,
to a point where he doesn't want to know anymore.
I was just going to say, before we continue with this list, I'm still confused. थोड़ा सा ये दर्शन और ज्ञान उपयोग में, can we go back and like I'm reading it here, but I'm not getting the gist.
अच्छा, देखो यहाँ पर है कि सिर्फ दर्शन उपयोग के सामान्य अवलोकन. दर्शन मीन्स सामान्य अवलोकन, मतलब मोटा मोटा देखना कोई चीज को. इट्स नॉट परसेप्शन वाला दर्शन. Okay, so when you're looking at an object without identifying what it is darshan.
View, basically देखना.
Just view, yes. Just viewing
So like
something without.
if you look at a chair,
Mhm.
then that you're seeing a chair.
थोड़ा दूर से चेयर देखा तो सामान्य पता चलेगा, या चेयर भी समझो पता चल गया. पर जैसे ही आप आइडेंटिफाई किया कि ये चेयर है, दैट बिकम्स श्रुत ज्ञान.
Okay, so like you see a shapeless form, आपने दर्शन उपयोग किया है, फिर आप थोड़ा नजदीक आते, then वो श्रुत ज्ञान से वो हाँ वो चेयर है.
नहीं, श्रुत ज्ञान से
या फिर मतलब जैसे कि समझो कोई बच्चा भी चेयर को देखेगा, तो पहले तो वो देखेगा कि ये कुछ है, फिर उसको पता नहीं, he doesn't know what to name it, but he will be able to identify that it is some object of this shape. So there is that very it's more of a kevali gamya, because the time difference is very little. Samanya avlokan is darshan, vishesh avlokan is shrut. I mean, sorry, gyan.
But it need not have to be look correct. It is a perception. Even if I hear a sound, I can perceive something. That's also darshan. need not have to see anything.
yes, पर यहाँ पर दर्शन उपयोग के 4 जो भेद बताए हैं
Oh,
उसमें
darshan, yeah.
सिर्फ चक्षु और अचक्षु दिया है. So
Oh,
the
I
one
think,
you are saying, then
okay.
they shouldn't write chakshu or chakshu because they should also write hearing.
Got
If
it,
you
got
can
it.
also
I was
hear
thinking
and
about,
get a perception. Yes, I know what
okay,
you're
I was
saying.
not thinking about this different types
Yeah.
of darshan. Okay,
Mhm.
thank you.
Okay, maybe it will become clearer. And then before we move
Right.
on to the ये जो मति ज्ञान और श्रुत ज्ञान, तो श्रुत
हाँ.
ज्ञान में लिखा है sensory cognitive knowledge. तो जैसे आपने chair देखा, your mind starts working. This is a chair, right?
Yeah,
ये
speaking
sensory
of
cognitive.
that, did I put the PDF in the group? We have 1 to 5, the new, what do you call?
Yes, yes, you did. We did
Yes,
read.
I
we
did,
have
right?
that.
Yeah, so
We
you
have
do
been
have
reading
that
that
in
book.
front of you. Good, good, good. Okay.
So what is the difference then? Let's say you're looking at the chair. ये मति ज्ञान और श्रुत ज्ञान में क्या फर्क है?
तो मति ज्ञान में सामान्य अवलोकन. Generally, you will know there is something object there. Okay, without actually knowing it. Now, कुछ है उसको पहचान लिया श्रुत ज्ञान वाला, उसको जानता है कि ये चेयर है, या a child who cannot name it will still be able to identify it with its shape or something.
But that sounds
तो
like darshan upyog, जो आपने बोला था कि you see something a shape, amorphous shape, darshan upyog, and then आप बोल रहे कि मति ज्ञान
तो
same.
हाँ, तो श्रुत के पहले मति नहीं, पर ये ज्ञान का भेद है. दर्शन is only visualizing. Gyan now is knowing, this knowing faculty. And they all happen almost together. कि ये केवली भगवान को पता चलता है कि there is a difference. We normal people almost cannot even identify where is darshan and where is this. And उसमें भी अब और आएंगे भेद, इहा, अवगा, धारणा, like those are even minute to catch those words, but it will come.
So they're very fine distinctions. It's not something that you can
Yeah.
say ये मति ज्ञान है, you should like it. They're
No, you cannot
fine
identify.
distinctions.
Yes. All you can say is कि श्रुत ज्ञान के पहले मति ज्ञान हो जाता है, या मति ज्ञान और श्रुत ज्ञान सबको होता है, एक इंद्रिय से लेके पंचेंद्रिय तक.
प्रभा जी, जैसे कोई तीर्थंकर भगवान का जन्म होता है तो वो 3 ज्ञान से के साथ जन्म लेते हैं कि 4 ज्ञान के साथ?
3. केवल ज्ञान तो बाद में होगा उनको.
That's the fifth one.
Right.
केवल ज्ञान 5th हो गया ना?
5th होगा, पर मुझे नहीं पता. आपने 3 ज्ञान के धारी होते हैं, 4 के होते हैं, 3 ही होता है मेरे ख्याल से. तो they may not have मन पर्याय, but they
And when
can
you say,
have an avdi.
when you say all beings have mati,
जैसे मुनि बनने के बाद में भी, दीक्षा के बाद
मुनि
उनको
बनने के बाद
develop
हाँ हो सकता है. और सबको डेवलप हो वो एबिलिटी कोई जरूरी नहीं है. हर मुनिराज को मना पर्याय ज्ञान होना जरूरी नहीं है.
आपने बोला था कि all beings have mati and shruta dhyan. So that's every living being that has atma. So even Nigod will have mati and shruta
That's
dhyan.
correct. Yes, even Nigod will have mati.
Okay.
That Gyan Gun is present in all living beings.
Ma'am, in the Manaparaya Gyan, there is no who Manaparaya Gyan. Why is that?
Because वो मुनिराज ही कोई होता है ना, तो
Ah.
उनके तो कभी they don't have bad intentions.
Okay.
And same thing Keval Gyan. Keval Gyan is complete knowledge, and there is no rag dvesh there, so there is no bad intention possible. That's why. Okay.
प्रभा जी, इसमें ये चैट जीपीटी में it's calling मति ज्ञान is called empirical knowledge. I don't know if that helps. Knowledge from senses and mind, mode of acquisition, perception, inference, memory, and it's supposed to be paroksh or indirect knowledge.
No, I think that is mentioned here also, right?
So indirect we already know, because mati ज्ञान के लिए इंद्रियां चाहिए ना. इवन एक इंद्रिय को भी स्पर्श इंद्रिय तो है ना. It's dependent gyan. That is true. And I'm not sure if empirical, they're trying to say that means it's dependent knowledge.
Basically, in engineering, empirical correlations basically mean you just know it happens, but you don't know why it happens. So
Right. That's what I
yeah.
said. Because
Yeah,
when you
it's-
know why it is, what it is, then it's Shruth. It becomes
So
Shruth.
you're right, it's Samanya Avalokan.
Samanya
And-
Avlokan, exactly.
So on a cursory glance, this is what it seems to be. So
Exactly. Yes. And then when you dwell into it or you go closer or you use a little mind to it, then you can relate it to something, then it is Shruth Gyan. You may still not be able to answer the question what it is, but the fact that you've analyzed makes it Shruth Gyan.
exactly.
Okay. So, and if you want, we can read the English version if that helps anyone.
Yeah, I think there's a
You
lot of
start
explanation
reading
later.
from Darshan Upyog and Gyan Upyog, maybe it sheds some light on it. Who has it open?
I have the English version.
Yeah, I can read.
Okay, go ahead and read. Just read that Darshan Upyog aur usse, in case they explained it any better.
So Darshan Lal says, what do you mean by sensory and scriptural and other knowledge? The knowledge of one's own soul, which arises through self-directed awareness, swasam mukhata, using perceptive consciousness.
Sanmukh. Okay.
So sanmukhata,
Mukata.
Sanmukhata.
kata, yes.
C-A-A. Okay, fine.
Sanmukhata.
Swasanmukta means looking inwards. Yes.
Okay. Using perceptive consciousness, that is darshan upyog, without relying on external support is called mati gyan. Alternatively, the knowledge that arises with the senses and mind as instrumental cause is called mati gyan. Shruti
Wait,
gyan is the knowledge
wait.
gained.
Why did it say without depending on? I thought Mati Gyan had to depend on Indriya.
No, the knowledge that arises with the senses and mind as instrumental cause is called mati gyan. So,
Okay, it does arise. Okay, somehow I heard not. Okay, fine.
in the first
Without
sentence,
external
without-
support, I think maybe the confusion, it says without
Yeah,
external support.
without external support. That's the one.
But
You know,
it
when
still
you,
uses the sense.
because isn't Indriya external support in some ways? That's the part I don't understand. Why are they saying without external support?
नहीं आपने
That is
बोला था
not-
last class में प्रबंधी की जो मति ज्ञान है it's that thought process. So you don't need eyes and ears, right, to have an internal thought process, right? And then Shruta Jnana uses the senses.
Okay.
I remember we discussed briefly in the last class.
Right.
Gyan is
Okay.
about listening, reading, and
Yeah,
learning.
it's a samanya avlokan, but then you use your intellect to. Okay, fine. But it does use indriya, right? They did say that it will use the senses.
Already the knowledge that arises with the senses and mind as instrumental cause is called mati gyan. So it clearly says senses and mind.
Yeah, so it is depending on the senses, yes.
Correct.
If I understand correctly, Darshana Upayog does not use the Mati Gyan. Because that sentence is kind of confusing, correct? Like it says like, okay, knowledge of one's own soul.
In Hindi, it is saying jisme samanya ka pratibhas nirakar jhalak. So you see, there is no shape to it yet.
Yes.
But I
Okay,
think
उसको
darshan upyog would be
darshan
same
उपयोग
as
कहते
mati.
हैं और जिसमें स्व पर पदार्थों का भिन्नता पूर्वक अवभाषण हो उस उपयोग को ज्ञान उपयोग कहते हैं. So that sounds like when I said कि दूर से कोई चीज देखो जबकि पूरा शेप भी अभी आइडेंटिफाई नहीं कर पा रहे हो. That is darshan upyog. And when you are able to identify that this is this or this or this, that is gyan upyog. There's a blob, I cannot make out what it is. So you're looking at a blob on the computer or in a camera. And then when you focus, oh, now I can tell what it is. It's a tree.
But I think in this paragraph, they're talking about Darshanopayog and Matigyan. The two, they're not talking about
They
Jnanopayog.
don't say Mati Gyan in the book, in the Hindi book though.
Yeah, in English they say like
In
what.
Hindi book, he's only talking about Darshan Upyog and Gyan Upyog. Now, is he saying Darshan Upyog equal to Mati Gyan in the English book?
No,
It's
no, he's
only definition.
that's what that particular that 2 lines or 3 lines are a bit of confusion. Like before
Okay,
it really.
I want to make sure that the English translation is not wrong. It shouldn't be bringing Mati Gyan in between.
Amitji,
with
we can
Darshan
read
Upyog.
again that
I
paragraph.
can share my screen so that everybody can see.
Right, yeah, let's share because that paragraph that Gyan Chand says that has no mention of Mati Gyan, and I thought I heard that.
No, I think we are
This is
reading.
this is the line.
Okay,
If you
so
can
the
see.
knowledge of one's own soul, which arises through self-directed awareness, okay, swasanmukta, using perceptive consciousness, darshan upyog, without relying on external support is called. Now, this mati gyan kyun unhone beech mein dal diya? That's wrong. That's not part of the Hindi paragraph. They should not have put that.
What you're saying is at the top, right? The darshan upyog and this. If you see, this is the definition of.
Oh, sorry, we are looking at Darshan Lal. Where is the Gyan Chand? The Gyan Chand says Samanya Pratibhas. Where is that one? Oh, that's the one. That's the one I asked you to read.
No, that we
Gyan
covered
Chand.
last
Yes.
time, right?
No, I think.
Right. We are just recapping last time still.
Okay. Then,
Go a
Prabhaji
little
wanted
bit further
to.
up. Further up. Scroll a little bit further up. This paragraph. This is the one we are talking about here, I think.
this.
Gyan Chand. That one. Yeah. That's a good point. Listen. That is the point. So you were reading the wrong paragraph. Sorry.
Yeah.
The thought activity,
Parinam.
parinam, which is fine, you know, activity, aptitude, attitude, thought, all that is parinam of the soul that is associated with consciousness and is disciplined or methodical. Amu videhi? What did they put?
Anu.
Anuvidehi.
I don't see that word.
Anuvidehi.
Where did they get it from? Is that in the Hindi book somewhere? Yeah, there, Anu Vidhai. Okay, why does is it misspelled here? Anu Videhi. Vidhai hona chahiye. DH. That is misspelled. We need to bring it to their attention. Okay, so ye wo paragraph nahi hai that I am talking about. So then Darshan Lal. Oh, wait a minute. What's going on here? Okay, can you remove the highlights so I can see further? Okay, samjhaiye. Okay, sorry, then we are coming down here.
Then this is the darshan upyog and gnan upyog.
Now, why does it not say Gyan Chand? Is it missing?
Gyan Chand
Yeah,
says.
that is missing.
Yes, some of
That's why
the
it's so
names,
confusing.
some of the names
Oh,
are
yeah,
missing.
Because, okay, so see, if you look at the Hindi book, it says ye 1 or 2 aa gaya, right? Perception and cognitive consciousness. All right. Then Darshan Lal is asking, Darshan Upyog aur Gyan mein kya antar hai? Ye samjhaiye, right? Explain this.
Yeah, your Gyan Chand word is missing. Where I'm showing.
Yeah, that's the problem. Please make a note of it. Otherwise, it will be difficult for people to tally with the Hindi book. And immediately send it to Varshaji because she's still working on this, so she can make these changes. Yeah, that Darshan, that Gyan Chand title is missing there. Okay. Okay, so I think now we are at the correct point. So he's saying that which involves the manifestation of the general, a formless glimpse, is called perceptive. So we're still talking about the same thing, basically, that it's a formless, then darshan upyog. Why did they change the line there?
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah,
That
this
should
should not be a
come
different
back
line.
up there, right. Because it's all in one paragraph. And that which involves the distinct manifestation of self and non-self is called cognitive consciousness, which is
So-
Jnana Upyog.
So this is Bhed Vigyan only, right? So one where we can do Bhed Vigyan, that
So
becomes
all they're saying is ki dekho, this what they're saying is when you're about to experience your soul, so ज्ञान उपयोग will happen only after दर्शन उपयोग, पर उसको हम पकड़ नहीं सकते, केवल ही पकड़ सकते हैं कि when you're having the experience of the soul, you will for like a very very minute fraction of a second you will have a samanya general experience of it and then the specific experience. So it's kind of difficult to explain because we cannot catch it. Then you're able to experience the actual soul, in which case that is the Jnanopayogas, which uses the knowledge, Gyan Gun of the Atma.
So these 5 types of gyans that we are talking about is the various
Are
stages
part
of
of Jnanopayog, yes.
So
So
this
that जो
quote
पहले हम
itself
सोच रहे थे
is-
पति ज्ञान और वो confusion नहीं है, it's the only confusion is because that Gyan Chand was not written above, okay? Then the next paragraph talks about Mati Gyan, where we read that wo wala paragraph, right?
here also Gyanchand is missing.
Here also Gyan Chand is missing. Yeah, we need to fix all that. Otherwise, it's confusing everybody. Okay.
So what we are learning in this course is basically Shrut Gyan.
No, we are learning types of Gyan, Darshan, Upyog, and Gyan Upyog. Darshan is a separate gun of soul. Gyan is a separate attribute of soul. Okay, so when the darshan attribute of the soul is active, it gives you a general, just a very vague idea. Let me put it that way. Vague might be easier to understand. And when the Gyan Gun is active, that is actually going to give you the specific knowledge of things. And then that knowledge type can be divided into those 8 types. Now, the general vague perception is divided into 4 types, which is Chakshu Darshan, Achakshu Darshan, Avdi Darshan, and Keval Darshan. So it can be Samanya Avlokan, general perception, both ways.
So
Okay.
the only thing is this line correct, right? Should it be senses and mind, or should it be soul? This line. Sorry, let's go.
Scroll it above, yeah.
Alternatively, the knowledge that arises with the senses and mind, and that's why I think Dinesh is confused, right? With the fact that here also we are saying senses and mind. Here Shrut Gyan says
Yeah,
sensory.
Mati and Shrut are both with Indriya. That I already said before, right? तो Shrut और Mati दोनों के लिए इंद्रिय चाहिए.
But then why here only sensor is written? Here it is only cognitive knowledge. Cognitive knowledge is through, right? I mean, from a science they say mind, but from Adhyatmic it will be like soul, right? So using soul, my understanding is Mati Gyan is only using soul.
See,
So
all
if you use
Gyan. Gyan Gun is only part of soul. It is not part of Pudgal. So soul automatically is involved as soon as you talk about knowledge.
Yeah, that's correct. So this is only soul. This is
So
the
now,
second.
no, cognitive knowledge, and this one is saying scriptural knowledge that is
Correct.
more
Plus
specific. Whereas
sensory,
that
plus
one is saying cognitive means it just is getting a general perception. But that is not without senses, because either eye or ear or smell, something is involved. Some indriya will be involved.
Oh, so that indriya is an instrumental cause.
It's still instrumental cause, yes.
In the Mati Gyan, there is a vague knowledge with
It's very vague. In the
yeah,
Shrut Gyan, it is more specific.
specific because it uses the senses a little bit there.
Yes. Well, I don't know what they mean exactly by this sensory cognitive knowledge. The sensory
And
doesn't mean using
flashes.
the five senses. It may mean slightly different because senses you will even use for the Mati Gyan also.
No, sensory cognitive means like the sparsha rasa gandha varna. To how do you perceive with what organs? Sensory organs.
Yeah, but even for Mati, you will use one of those organs, right? क्योंकि जैसे
But
vaguely
it is
दूर से
subtle, I
आवाज
think.
आ
It's
रही, you
vague, I
can
think.
hear something, that's it. And then you may be able to recognize what instrument it is.
I think it talks about the conclusion. I think in Mati Gyan it does not conclude that much. Sutta Gyan concludes.
Okay. That is true. Yet they both will need the five senses, is all I'm saying.
Yeah. So Mati Gyan, lesser extent it uses the sensory. With Shruti Gyan it is more.
Yeah. So would you also please highlight that, Amitji? I might want them to kind of somehow indicate that it's using the senses, the Mati Gyan, because otherwise people will get the wrong idea.
It's clear here, actually. No, I think the confusion stems from this. See, here
Yeah,
it says
that's what I'm saying, because
here
there
it
it's saying
says
only
sensory.
cognitive knowledge and then sensory cognitive,
Then this
which
should
is
be
confusing
cognitive
people.
knowledge with senses being the instrumental cause. That's how this bracket should.
Right. So we need to further
I think it
explain that.
is so negligible. That's what it's not talking
It is
about.
very negligible because it doesn't last.
Yeah.
It's vague, and just before you know it, it's that one little moment. And which always happens, but we are not even able to catch that.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Yeah, I think.
See, even today, when we see something, by the time we realize it, it already goes into Gyan Upyog. We cannot even catch the Darshan Upyog. It's so quick.
Or is it like, right, looking at the two definitions, Mati Gyan is obviously the knowledge in the soul, but the knowledge is only about the soul. And Shrut Gyan is the knowledge about soul as well as the other dravyas, right?
No,
Based on
no,
knowledge.
I don't think so.
Because here it says knowledge gained about other substances, and here it says knowledge of one's own soul. That's how I'm making it, saying that this only talks about the soul. Right, and this talks about the knowledge of the soul as well as the other dravyas about other substances, other dravya, based on the knowledge acquired through Mati Gyan. Right, so once you know your own soul, right, you start gaining knowledge about the other substances as well. So that is the other five dravyas.
But Darshan Upyog, the perception happens
I
on
think what they're
everything.
trying to say is that it happens in both places. When you're trying to know your soul also, first comes Darshan Upyog and then comes Gyan Upyog. But that is also the case when you're knowing something other than soul.
But while we overlapping Darshan Upyog and this is all about Gyan Upyog, right? These are types of.
This is all Gyan Upyog, yes.
Gyan Upyog, right? So Darshan Upyog does not even come into picture, right? What we are saying is, how do we differentiate Mati Gyan and Shrut Gyan, right?
Yeah, but I don't agree with this where it says that Mati Gyan is only knowing about the soul and Shrut Gyan is, no, that's not correct.
Oh, then
I think the starting point is Darshan Upyog, right? I mean, that's your starting point.
No. Darshan Upyog ko to abhi samajh lo, we understood what is Darshan Upyog. Okay. It's that perception just before you know something. So that is clear. Now we are differentiating between Mati Gyan and Shrut Gyan. So they are saying that the knowledge of one's own soul, which arises through self-directed awareness, using perceptive consciousness, Darshan Upyog, without relying on external support, is called Mati Gyan. Now, what external support they mean?
no
scriptures, the knowledge that arises with the senses and mind as instrumental cause. I don't know if I agree with that.
I think
Hindi is more. Now they're contradicting here. The first sentence says it doesn't need support. The second sentence says it needs senses and mind as instrumental cause.
But external support is not senses. The external support could be your scriptures.
Prabhaji, I mean, we cannot keep our mind aside when we are reading scriptures, right? Mind and senses will always be in play, right? External support is actually, I think, is coming from scriptures. That's all.
Yeah, external support is nothing but scriptures is what is being talked about.
Okay. I'll still clarify in the next class if there is a difference. I just want to make sure this English translation is not misleading people. That's what I'm trying to
Yeah.
focus on.
No, it
Because
is
it's sort of
definitely.
sounding a bit contradictory the way they're saying it. Okay, let me read the same thing in Hindi. They're still saying the same thing. Parashray is external support. कि बुद्धि छोड़कर दर्शन उपयोग पूर्वक स्वसन्मुखता से प्रकट होने वाले निज आत्मा के ज्ञान को पति ज्ञान कहते हैं. Oh, okay. Oh, I think maybe they forgot Atva Indriyo. Okay, so both. So what they're saying is whether you're applying that to knowing yourself or you are applying that same upyog towards knowing something else, in both cases, it is mati gyan.
Yeah.
In English, did they forget to mention the word or, that athva?
They have the alternatively.
Okay,
But all.
I guess it's fine. Yeah, that's fine.
So sorry,
Yeah, I
say it
think
again. What's
there
the difference?
appears to be
So
not
they're
linked
saying
here.
in both cases, mati gyan can be applied two places. One is knowing your own self versus knowing others. So when you read the first sentence, it appears like, oh, mati gyan is only used to know your soul, which would be wrong. That's why I was saying that doesn't make sense. But then it says it also can be used to know other, in which the indriya will be nimit. Because knowing your own self, you don't need indriya.
Correct.
Atma only can know Atma without the help of indriya.
So what is Shruta Gyan? Now what is left? Right? Mati Gyan can know one's soul also, can know other substances through senses and mind. So
Exactly.
Shruta Gyan, what is left for
Now,
Shruta Gyan? How is Shruta Gyan different?
तो श्रुत ज्ञान देखो, और विदमति ज्ञान के द्वारा जाने हुए पदार्थ, something that the mati ज्ञान has already just perceived, known, उसके संबंध से अन्य पदार्थ को जानने वाले ज्ञान को शुद्ध ज्ञान कहते हैं. कोई पर्सन आया, right? Generally, I recognize this person. Now I identify this is my friend's brother. So you used a reference point, that is Shruta Gyan. What are we doing when we read books? Shruta Gyan. We are analyzing. I'm telling you, you've studied this in the previous Bal Bodh, or we are trying to understand with reference, with examples, other examples, analyzing. All this is Shruta Gyan.
Yeah, I think in Hindi it's very clear. I think in Hindi it connects both of them.
It connects both, yeah. In English also, I think it's not wrong. I think it's just the way we were reading.
So
And
I
plus,
think
they have separated the sentence, which makes it confusing. So make sure you bring that to Varshaji's attention, please, Amitji.
I have noted down.
They need to combine that sentence and give that Gyanchand title so that it becomes more clear.
And Auntie, you had said too that all beings have mati and shuddha and even nigod, but it doesn't really make sense. I mean, wouldn't a nigod only have darshan upyog, like just the basic knowledge of something is there, consciousness? Because how can nigod have like shrutha dhyan and mati dhyan? It doesn't. I mean, I don't know.
Oh yeah, they know. I mean, let's say I guess it's hard to give an example of bacteria or nigod because we cannot see them. But let's say one sensed plant. How does plant know that it's raining and it's supposed to absorb that rain? That is Shruta Gyan. It understands food. It knows it has to go towards sun. Do you see the plants always facing towards the sun?
So it's using its senses. Yeah.
It's using its, yes, Gyan.
Okay.
Bacteria and negots, since we cannot see them, we cannot, I'm sure they have similar something that they go towards food or, you know, towards
But
air,
unka,
whatever.
sorry, unka maybe Shrutgyan is limited to just survive. Can we say
Yes,
that?
that's fine. Yeah. Mati and Shrut will be existing, no matter how small form it is. But that will never happen that the Gyan is not there. It can be very small amount, can be very, very limited, which is okay. Okay. Actually, there's a book called, what is it called? I'll ask my husband what the name of it is. There's a book which is all about explaining these terms. So I'll put that name in the group. And
Jaina
hopefully there's
Siddhanta
English
Praveshika?
version. Exactly, that's the one I was thinking about.
What's
And
it
if I'm
called?
not mistaken, I think Kirit Gosalia has translated that. So we should be able to find one in English.
Okay, what's the name you said, Bahubali?
Jaina
Jane,
Siddhanta Praveshika. I think I can find, I can share that PDF.
yeah, or if Kirit Bhai has done it, I might also have a PDF. He probably sent it to me. So I mean, nowadays pretty much you can find everything online. So somebody might be able to find it. If you
I
don't,
found
then
it. I can share.
okay,
I
good.
have it. Yeah.
Yeah, then share it.
I
with me.
have the Hindi one. Yeah.
Okay, I'll double check. I thought Kirit Bhai had translated it. And if
Oh.
he did, I'll be able to find it. It might be in my Gmail. I have to look for it then. Then
Okay,
I'll
I just put the Hindi one, Hindi in the group.
Okay. Yeah, that will have a lot of these Jain terminologies explained. So sometimes if we are still not able to get a clear picture, that might be an additional help to see the exact definitions, and maybe that might help us. Because some of these terms they're like so close that they're kind of hard to visualize or, conceptualize. And that's why they say some of these terminologies are kevali gamya. Only they, केवल ज्ञान में ये डिफरेंस आता है, इसलिए उन्होंने हमें बताया. हम इजीली परसीव नहीं कर सकते हैं the difference between those things. Okay.
It kind of begs the question, why do we learn it? Because it's itne minute differences jo sirf keval hi ko pata hai. And like it's making, from my perspective, it's making me more confused. So I'm not sure what the purpose of learning.
I used to wonder about that too, when you're first learning things and it's just confusing and more things that we cannot relate to. But eventually you realize later on, they link up with different things and when you go into more difficult concepts, then it can help. But yeah, I guess honestly, Darshan Upyog, even later on, I haven't seen a huge use of it. But fine. So what's wrong with knowing that it exists? That's it. That is the vastu ka swarup. कि ऐसा होता है, तो हमें जानना चाहिए.
I think what I read is like Sruta Jnana is as good as Kevala Jnana, but only the gap is like one with not realized yet. So it has so much, that's what Agama scriptures and everything.
It has potential, yes.
Potential, yeah.
Because Sruta Gyan is going to be used to initially go inwards.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean,
but eventually your upyog will have to go inside, which Atma hi Atma ko jaan sakta hai.
And I mean, somebody, Sanjay Kumar Godaji or somebody said like, yeah, yes. he said like, so how much Jain Tattva is such a way that whatever Kevali knows, everything is in the scripture. I mean, not everything to that
everything, but yeah,
complete perception. So there is nothing left. They say like for Shravakas to want to pursue, everything is there. It's as good as that much. So there is no gaps at all, he was saying. So just start working on it. Start looking at it.
That is to be taken with a grain of salt. What he's trying to say is that all the knowledge you would need to go and try to experience your soul is all in the scriptures, is what he's
Yeah.
trying to say.
Yeah, I think
Because कर्मानु योग के तो बहुत सारी चीजें और हो सकती है that may not have been spoken, have come in the Vani, that's possible. Because भगवान का ज्ञान तो unlimited है ना?
Yeah.
Mhm.
It gives a
Can see
glimpse. You were
everything.
saying it gives a glimpse of Bhagwan's Ananta
Right.
Gyan.
Yes. हाँ, उसकी महिमा आती है आपको कि if Bhagwan could know these minutest of things, then how much he knows.
Yeah.
That's the point he's trying to make. In fact, I'll show you, there's a little movie or a little clip that is on the internet. It takes you from a very, very fine, like an amoeba level, all the way to the globe and all the, what do you call,
Galaxies and solars. Yeah.
galaxies and
that's,
everything.
that's a very famous short film. Yeah,
That's
it's
a
called
very-
it's called Powers of 10. You know, and it keeps going
Exactly.
from the
So,
microscopic
I
atom
mean, you
level
can
up to the
zoom
zero.
down as much as they go, then you can zoom out as much as
Mhm.
galaxies and everything else. So, and Bhagwan knows it all. And not only all its previous paryas, its current paryas, and its future paryas.
Mhm.
It's like almost unimaginable for us. Okay, I think we've used up one whole hour, but let's continue. Okay, so Arun ji, आप पढ़िए और मन पर्याय ज्ञान, and somebody else, Nidhi ji, you answer that. Let's complete this chapter quickly.
So you want me to read from English after all the gyans are
That's
listed,
fine.
right?
Either way is fine, yeah.
So Darshan Lal, what do you mean by sensory in scripture, right?
Yes.
Yes.
No. मन पर्याय ज्ञान, वहां से पढ़ना है.
So that is that the next page then?
Yeah.
Uh,
Darshan Lal Singh, and what about Manaparaya Gyan?
Okay.
It's at the
Darshan
end
Lal,
of the page.
what about one paryay jnana? Jnana, listen, I'll explain everything. When an
no,
enlightened
Gyanchand is Nidhi ji. Do you have it open now?
Okay, I'm
Nidhi ji?
sorry.
Yes, ma'am. Dhyanchand, listen, I'll explain everything. When an enlightened ascetic clearly knows the material thoughts, objects present in another's mind, without the aid of senses or mind, and within the limits of substance, space, time, and modes, this knowledge is called Manha Parya Gyan, telepathic knowledge. Whereas Keval Gyan is the direct, clear, and complete knowledge in which all substances, all their qualities, and all their modifications, past, present, and future, are known together simultaneously across space and time.
This is fine, but is Kumati, etc., also included in Jnana?
The Mati Gyan, it doesn't say Gyanchand, but I hope it is Gyanchand.
Yeah, we need to fix
I
that,
think
Amit ji.
that's
I don't know why they've made this mistake everywhere, and it needs to be put in, otherwise the reader will have a problem.
The Mati Gyan, Shrut Gyan, and Avdi Gyan of one who does not realize the true nature of the self, a person with false belief, that is Mithya Drishti, are called Kumati, Kushrut, and Ku-Avdi, that is false or misdirected knowledge. This is because their fundamental faith is contrary to the truth. Even if their worldly knowledge, which is not purposeful for liberation, may be factually correct, since it lacks true knowledge of the essential reality, tattva, all such knowledge is ultimately considered false.
Are there different types of Darshanopayog also?
Yes,
Any
there are four.
questions on this? I think we have kind of discussed this enough that we've covered all the Manaparya and everything. Okay, go ahead.
Yes, there are four types of darshan of view. Chakshu darshan, ocular perception, a chakshu darshan, non-ocular perception, Avdi Darshan, clairvoyant perception, Keval Darshan, omniscient perception.
I understand that Chakshu Darshan means seeing with the eyes, but what is this?
Achakshu.
Achakshu.
Chakshu Darshan.
No, brother, it is not so. The general perception or experience, that is pratibhas, that occurs prior to Matigyan, and when the eye sense, Chakshu Indriya is the instrument, then it is called ocular perception, Chakshu Darshan. And the general perception that occurs before Matigyan, when the remaining four senses and the mind, excluding the eye sense, are the instruments, that is called non-ocular perception or Achakshu Darshan.
Okay, so here's one more clarification. They're saying that, oh wait, never mind. So here they clarify that darshan upyog happens before mati gyan. We were a little bit in between talking about is mati gyan and darshan upyog same. So they're saying darshan upyog is just before mati gyan.
Prabhaji, I think they run in parallel.
For us, yes.
There is
For
Avadi
us, we
Darshan
cannot
and
even
Keval
catch the
Darshan as well,
mati
right?
gyan or the darshan upyog. But Kevali can see the difference. That's where they mentioned that darshan upyog happens just before mati gyan. And so, yeah, same thing. Either what you see, dur se kuch aa raha hai, it's still a blob. It's still darshan upyog, then mati gyan, and then when you recognize it, it's shrut gyan. And then similarly, if you are hearing something from far away that's other than chakshu, is achakshu darshan. Okay, go ahead.
All right. And what about clairvoyant perception, Avadi Darshan?
Similarly, the ordinary perception of the objects, which occurs just before clairvoyant knowledge, Avdi Gyan, is called clairvoyant perception, Avdi Darshan. But there is some speciality in omniscient perception, Keval Darshan.
What is that?
The ordinary perception and experience which occurs together with Keval Gyan is called Keval Darshan. There is no time gap between Keval Darshan and Keval Gyan.
Brother, very well explained. Thank you.
It's very well explained, except we are not understanding very well here.
You really need it.
Like this Avadi Jnana, Avadi Darshan. So यहाँ पे लिखा है the ordinary perception of the objects. So Avadi Darshan, Avadi Jnana के पहले you have Avadi Darshan. So what is the link? So ठीक है Avadi Jnana समझ में आ गया वो clairvoyant knowledge, right? You have knowledge of some.
So just पहले जो general like कोई भी चीज जानने से पहले very small moment पहले एक general vision, general वो होता है उसको दर्शन उपयोग.
Because इसमें लिखा है there is no time gap, right, between these things.
I think in the Keval Jnana or when
in the Keval Gyan there is no time gap.
No, that's what I mean. All the attributes are complete. They are on their own. They're
all happening at the same time.
Yeah,
whereas in Avdi Darshan will happen before Avdi Gyan.
Yeah.
Okay, it is in a certain order.
Yeah.
But Keval Darshan, there is no order. Everything will be together. Gyan and Darshan both together. That I had already told you last class also. Yeah. Okay. So next class, if someone can read from this book, खास करके English की मिल जाए, and can shed even little better light on this Darshan Upyog and Mati Gyan, the difference between the two. Shrut, I think we all understand right now. Then you can share.
Sure.
Okay. So let's move on to Grahit and Agrahit Mithyat. But it's not very difficult. So we'll quickly read this chapter and we'll explain. Okay. So Safaltaji, you read the author introduction and then I'll need two other people, Chhatra and Adhyapak. Amit ji, you become Adhyapak. Dipali ji, you become Chhatra. Okay, go ahead.
Daulat Ramji Paliwal, the spiritual enthusiast, personality and works, Samvat 1855 to 1923. Pandit Daulat Ramji, a seer scholar and poet of the 19th century who remained immersed in the sense of spirituality, Adhyatma Ras, was a gem among men of the Paliwal community. He was born in a village named Shashni, located near Aligarh. His father's name was Todar Malji. Away from self-applause, the full life story of his great poet is not available. He was an ordinary householder, simple in nature, self-enlightened person, Atmagnani. The Chahadhala, authored by him, is a cherished and widely circulated literary gem within the Jain community. There is not studied Chahadhala. It holds a prominent place in the curriculum of all Jain examination boards. He composed it in Samvat 1891. He achieved the remarkable feat of encapsulating an ocean of wisdom within single picture. Additionally, he composed numerous hymns and spiritual songs imbued with spiritual essence, which are still recited daily in all religious assemblies across India. Philosophical principles, along with devotion and spirituality, form. The language is simple, lucid, and flows effortlessly. There is an absence of unnecessary words. His verses can be proudly placed before any stalwart of Hindi literature of his famous composition Chhadhala.
Okay. So Daulat Ramji ki Chhadhala book is very famous. It talks about different gati mein kya kya dukh hai, bara bhavna, and several things in that book. There is so many verses and there are chapters. They're divided into 5 or 6 chapters. तो topics rather, है ना? तो उसमें से ये लिया गया है. And what else is new? That's it. That Chhadhala is a very popular book that is read by a lot of people. And there's not much known about this Kavi. And the Todarmalji father's name is different than the Todarmalji who wrote Mokshamarg Prakashak. So that is not of relevance here.
Auntie, ये जो description में उनको आत्मध्यानी बोले, is it just like a poetic thing? Because he's a householder, so he cannot be an Atmadhyani.
Householder,
right?
but he can be a Samyak Drashti.
So he can be in like 5th Gunastan. Like householder can go up to what Gunastan? 5th or 6th they can go? No, only 4th, right?
5th, yes. Because any householder who has Samyak Darshan and has taken vows can be in for 5th Gunastan.
In 5th, okay. So maximum he can be in 5th Gunastan,
That's
and
correct.
that's why he's called Atmadhyani here.
Now 5th has a lot of stages though. If you take even little bit of vows, you're in 5th Gunastan. But before becoming a Muni, there are a lot of steps. But they're all part of 5th.
Okay.
In Digambara tradition, there is before become Muni, they become Shullaka Muni. They wear 2 pieces of clothes. They are the one, I think, 5th Gunastan, I think.
Oh, those are those Bhattaraks, right? The Shullak.
No, not Bhattaraks.
No, Bhattaraks are just administrative people. They are not Shullak. So the stages that I talked about, there are actually 11 stages within 5th Gunastan. So first stage, all you did is took some vow and you are in 5th Gunastan. But then there are, slowly you take more vows and there are 11 stages. And the 11th one is Shullak. And then there is actually...
So 5th Gunastan mein 11 stages.
Yes.
Okay.
And they are in your syllabus where it will come. Okay, कौन 2 लोग पढ़ने वाले थे?
So it's me for student.
Okay.
Yeah, I will do it for the.
And who was going to
Inherited,
Amit? No, who was
Yeah,
that?
me. Yeah, Amit, yeah.
Okay. Okay.
so inherited wrong belief and acquired wrong belief. Agrahit and Grahit Mithyatva. Student, whose story is told in Chardala?
Teacher, it is the story of mine, yours, and everyone's. It tells the tale of this soul wandering in the cycle of worldly existence. Since eternity, this soul has been roaming through the four realms of existence, yet has never found true happiness anywhere. This is what is revealed in the first verse, first Dala.
Dal.
Student,
Not the line on
Dal,
top.
sorry, Dal, yeah, Dal.
why is the soul wandering in the mundane existence and what is the reason for its suffering?
Teacher, the answer to this question is provided in the second Dal. ऐसे मिथ्या
Driga.
द्र ग्र ग ज्ञान चरणावास ब्रह्मता
Charnava,
चरणावास
Charnavash.
चरणावास okay चरणावास
The
ब्रह्मता
S, does it come with a dot or there's a
yeah
way
S
it
has
changes?
as a dot at the top.
Now
Navash,
that
yeah.
makes it sure instead of sir.
Okay, चरणावास okay ब्रह्मता भरता दुख जन्म
Brahmata Bharata. There's no line on the top. I know
ब्रह्म
it's hard to get that.
दुख जन्म मरण. This soul, influenced by perverted faith,
So
mithya
imagine
darshan.
if we didn't understand this line business. See, this is how all that Rama Sita went. Brahmata, Bharata, Dukkha, Janma, Marana. Imagine how that would become. And if we don't put the A, then there will be no difference between the half letter and the full letter.
Yeah, and will
So
correct.
that's why it is important to train ourselves with that
Yeah.
line on the top. So unfortunately, yeah.
This
Okay.
soul,
Prabhaji, one.
yeah.
Mhm.
Continue, please.
It's okay. Go ahead, ask your question, Safalta.
Actually, one will be while giving our test, so we need to follow the same like writing.
For that, I cannot promise you guys because you know what? We are doing this in the books, but no, well, I don't know. So far, like individuals were translating, in which case we cannot request them to be so specific. But maybe from now on, we'll translate the tests also in ChatGPT, in which case, yeah, they may be able to put the same type of diacritics in there.
Like when we are writing, is it going to be just a like multiple choice question or it will
yeah,
be some
exams are
writing?
all there's no much writing involved at all.
Okay, so I was just asking about the
And
writing.
all of
So do we need to
them,
write the same?
multiple choice, fill in the fill in the blanks. But even then, you're choosing between options, so you're not writing anything. So yeah, it's
Yeah.
going to be multiple choice, choosing, fill in the blanks, match the following, and true or false. Four
Okay.
questions.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, you would think it would be easy, but they twist the questions such that unless you really understand the concepts, it's, you know, because it's also open book. So what do you expect, you know? So,
Okay.
okay.
This soul, influenced by perverted faith, mithya darshan, perverted knowledge, mithya gyan, and perverted conduct, mithya charitra, wanders through the worldly existence and endures the sufferings of birth and death.
Student, what are these wrong faith, wrong knowledge, and wrong conduct due to which this being is unhappy?
Teacher, perverted belief regarding the seven fundamental elements, tattvas, such as jeev, ajeev, etc., is known as wrong faith, mithyatva, also called wrong perception, mithya darshan. You have studied the attributes of these elements. Viewing them contrary to their true nature is wrong perception. It is said जीवा जीवादि प्रयोजनभूत तत्व सरार्ध तिना
सर्वतिन्माहि
तिनमाहि विपर्याय तत्व विपर्याय तत्व. Meaning the essential elements like Jeev and Ajeev are misunderstood or incorrectly perceived.
Student, since when are we in the grips of this wrong faith?
This is since time eternal, but we have been supporting this with external activities. This is of two kinds: inherited wrong faith, agrit mithyatva, and acquired wrong faith, grit mithyatva.
Kindly explain inherited wrong belief and acquired wrong belief. Agrahit and grahit mithyatva.
The feeling of oneness that living beings have with their bodies and attachments towards external objects since times eternal is inherited wrong faith. Acquired wrong faith is the perverted belief that we have developed being influenced by false deities, false scriptures, and false monks. The agrit means that which is not acquired, and grit means that which has been acquired.
Student, in that case, there must also be inherited and acquired wrong knowledge, right?
Just a second. Yes, indeed, there are. The ignorance regarding the fundamental truths like the soul, jeev, and other fundamental elements, tattvas, which has existed since beginningless time, is called inherited false knowledge, a great mithyatva. Mithya gyan.
yeah.
On the
Agrahit
other,
nahi, that should be grahit.
agrahit.
No. सही अध्ययन करना ही ग्रहित
Inherited is always agrahit, right?
Oh, yeah. Okay. Oh, maybe the sentence construction is the other way around. Okay, that's fine.
On the other hand, when one studies scriptures that promote attachment and aversion, rag, dvesh, through distorted descriptions and considers them to be true, that is inherited false knowledge, grit mithya gyan.
That should be
that's wrong.
That should be acquired, not inherited.
Acquired. Can you please circle that? That should be acquired false knowledge.
Oh, you're okay. Yes,
acquired.
that is correct.
Students.
Yeah, would you please make a note of that too? You
just a minute.
I'm surprised that happened. ChatGPT should not have done that.
ChatGPT is famous for hallucinating, so it makes things up.
Shall we understand wrong conduct?
Now, what's funny is when they do this, they say after so many lines or after certain time, it starts like making more mistakes. Kind of weird, but anyway.
Yeah.
Shall we understand wrong conduct? Mithya charitra also likewise?
Teacher, yes, of course. The indulgence of an ignorant soul in sensory objects is called inherited false conduct, agrahit mithya charitra. Whereas the outward adoption of disciplined conduct due to desire for praise and admiration is acquired false conduct, grit mithya charitra, grasped false conduct. All such external rituals and actions are ultimately fruitless because they lack true knowledge and faith regarding the self, jeev, and the non-self, ajeev. It has been said that jo khyati lab pujdi chaha dari karan vivid vidhi deha daha आत्मा अनात्मा के ज्ञानहीन जे करनी तन karan cheen. Following meaning of the above verse is not in the Hindi book, meaning those who seek. Something is following meaning of the above verse is not in Hindi book, meaning those who.
They did the translator write that as a comment
Yeah.
note?
No, as a proper line.
That should be taken away. That should have been removed. Okay, would you please highlight or somehow point that out to Varshaji? Oh, she should have caught all these things when she's doing the review. Okay, never mind. I'm glad we are reading from the English book so we can catch all these things.
Meaning those who seek fame, gain, and worship perform various bodily rituals without knowledge of the soul and non-soul. Whatever they do is futile.
Student,
The meaning
why,
given. What is he saying? That the meaning is not given. This was the translation of what you just read in Hindi.
Yeah, so it looks like this is a comment. Following meaning of the above verse is not in the Hindi book. That comments has been put. This meaning is
I see. Yes, yes.
the meaning
Should we
is
leave
not in the Hindi
comment?
book.
Do you think so? It doesn't. I don't think so. What do you say?
No, but to a reader, right? Somebody who reads this book, right?
I guess
he
it
will
can
read.
help to somebody who is reading both books. So it tells them that, hey, you won't find this explained in the Hindi book.
Yeah, but it should not be as a main. How it appears. Let me share my.
Right.
It appears like this is the meaning of this, like Jo Khyati. Sorry. So if this is somebody will think that this is the meaning of this above Chand.
No. What he's saying is following meaning. That means what follows this sentence of the above verse is not in the Hindi book.
Yeah, but Amitji is saying that the way that it's written, it looks like so basically no, there should be
that should be in parentheses. Then the meaning should have been first.
There should be square brackets between the following and the book. That's all you need there.
Okay.
Yeah. Any kind of an indication, a star mark or any kind of an indication.
Would you just ask her to put square brackets or whatever is customary, whatever is traditionally done in the
I have noted it down.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I hope she understands your whatever. Actually, what's interesting is they translated this, yet I don't remember if they translated the previous two. The Jivadi Prayojan Bhut and the Aisi Mithya Dragyan.
No, they explain.
But you know
right?
what? Okay.
No,
Those meanings are in the Hindi book. Only this one is not.
That's why that line is not there. Correct.
Okay,
correct.
got it.
That line is.
Okay, continue.
I think student Dipaliji, yours.
Why are all the activities of ignorant being unrighteous? Shouldn't the good ones be called righteous?
Teacher Pandit Dolaramji replies thus: Ragadi bhav hinsa samet darvit tras thavar maran khet जे क्रिया तिन्हें जानहु कुधर्म तीन सारदाय जीव लहाय आसर्म. Believing that actions that arise from the internal emotions of attachment and aversion, which result in psychic violence, bhav hinsa, and the physical violence, dravya hinsa, that harms mobile and immobile living beings, thrust and sthavar, beings is repeated twice. Okay, as dharm is kudharm, false doctrine. Having faith in these actions leads the soul, jeev, to suffering.
Student, what is the remedy of saving oneself from these? Of saving oneself from these?
By understanding the true nature of the deity, true scriptures, and true teacher, one can avoid the acquired false belief. And by attaining true knowledge of the soul and other purposeful fundamental elements, tattvas, along with direct self experience, atmanubhuti, one can eliminate inherited false belief.
Then please explain the nature of all these.
Teacher, some other time.
Okay. So, great. So right now, what do you think you are removing?
Right?
Definitely so. So from childhood, let's say you learned, let's each one of you give examples of what you learned, which now you think could have been a Grahit Mithyatva, and that is
God, the definition of God, who you consider as a God, right? That has changed a lot, right, after this.
right. Okay. What else? Anybody else want to touch this?
So like while growing up and based on how we interacted in the city, it's like all gods are one. Everything is good. I mean, so there's no need to either go to Dargah or go to the Shiva temple. It's all fine. All gods are, yeah, that's one of the biggest great Mithyat.
Sure. Okay. Dinesh Dipali?
Yeah, I was going to say something similar. Like we'll do Ganpati Puja, or we'll do like Saraswati Puja, these kinds of things. And, or on the forum, we'll call ourselves Hindu, because the option of Jain is not there, those kind of things. So we acquire that Mithyatva, and yeah.
Yes. Okay. Nidhi?
The takeaway is how to look at how to do Jin darshan. Jinendra Bhagwan ka darshan kaise karna hai when I am standing before the murti. Then what should be
हम
my
बात करें कि आपका कोई ग्रहित मिथ्यात्व था जो कि छूट रहा है ये कोर्स लेके.
हाँ मैम, तो पहले I used to see the face and the face of the Murti and look at the beautiful expression. Now I like to see myself in the Murti. Okay, I look like this. This is one example that is.
Yeah, you see your pure soul in the Murti, that I am that.
Yes, that I can become this and I am essentially like this, but I had forgotten myself. So I believe that I can be happy and whatever, sad, but this is what I am and this is what I should try to achieve.
Dinesh Burarji, since your video is not on, I'm sort of ignoring you. This is joking. So you
It's
want
okay. I'm driving too, so that's why I wanted to be off. That's okay. I'm listening though. I'm just listening.
You are not able to speak, then would it take away
Uh,
your focus
n-
driving yourself?
no, no. So you asked about Mithyatva, and in my very pre original class, I had asked you a question as well. All darshans seems to be similar, which to which you had said, no, 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 that's not true. Now I realize, yeah, that's way different than our original understanding. Jina darshan itself has so much in it that even to understand Jin darshan, this life will be not enough. So what I'm
Yes.
understanding now is, I cannot be saying that I will be okay to understand other philosophies or religions or whatever it is, unless unless and until I understand where I'm in the faith in which I'm born. That is Jainism.
Right.
So
Right.
might be this lifetime will be less to understand the depth of Jainism. So that's why it's better to have a focus on only one faith.
Right. Once you focus on this, which I have experimented, that when I go somewhere else, it's not like I completely quit going because sometimes I'm forced to, or whatever the reason may be. For example, did I share this with your class or maybe the other class I did? I last Monday or one of these days, I had to go for a few minutes because I had class, so I couldn't really attend. But just for 5 minutes, somebody had invited me to a Satyanarayan Katha. So I quickly went and came back. In that 5 minutes, I saw that they were doing also Ashprakari Puja. Same Dravya. akshat, phal,
Mhm.
phul, naivedya, whatever. Okay? Except their meanings were totally different. Why they were using was totally different.
Mhm.
So then I understood. But had I not had this background, then मैं तो उसको ही सच मान लेती कि this is the way to do puja. You understand?
True.
So now when you see other faiths, even if they use similar words, consciousness, this, that, you will be able to decipher the good from the bad or incomplete from the complete. Some things will match, but it's incomplete, or they're only looking at one facet of things. And that's their total knowledge. And Jainism gives you all facets and the what, why of it.
Mhm.
And now let's look at agrahit mithyatva. Give me examples of agrahit mithyatva that we have and we still probably do. And what's the first one that we are born with?
I am the body. Right? So I'm not the
Yes.
soul, I'm the body.
The
That's
baby
a
is born, nobody told him, but he thinks he has to eat. Where did that come from? He identifies himself as the body. And he has ahar sanya, so he knows how to eat.
So that's
Right?
the agrahit. That's agrahit mithyatva.
That's
It's an
agrahit. I
inherited.
was born with it,
Mm.
associating with this body.
And even
there
that
are
consciousness
several
of the
others.
baby's consciousness of this is my mother, right? That's also agrahit, right?
Well,
That's
no. That is Grahit. We teach
but that's
him that. उसको mirror में खड़ा करके ये मम्मी ये whatever the baby's name is,
नहीं,
we
but there's
force the
some, but
child
there's
to
also some,
recognize,
but there's
identify
some kind of
people.
instinctual.
But in a way, it's needed. I mean, how else the poor child is going to know who is daddy, who is mommy, who is dadi, who is whatever.
No, but there is some instinctual sense, like just animals.
But there
Babies,
is
they
some,
know,
yes, instinctual
right?
also that it recognizes.
And also while growing up and the little kids, correct, we used to say like, okay, my name Bahubali wants that. We used to say.
Exactly.
I mean, because
Yes.
that name,
So to
and
teach
later
them.
found that, okay, I am that.
Yep. So we always make him kind of force his name into him as an identity.
Yeah, that's all great. Yeah.
That's
You
all
are
great.
this person. You are. This is your name. This is your family. This is your father. This is your kul and everything, right? Yeah.
It's funny, but in Bharalji, who wrote these books, in his family, his older brother's son, by now, I mean, this is a family that has written, learned, kind of grown up with this knowledge. So in that family, obviously even the babies, the children will be taught who you are is Shuddhatma, right? So this one of the kids, they named him Shuddhatma. So now he does identify himself as Shuddhatma. Many of you are going to Jaina, I think he's going to be there, Shuddhatma Prakash Barel. And he's sort of a motivational speaker. So, but he speaks about Jainism in that tone.
He's the son of Hukum Chand Barel, or is his relation?
Son of Ratan Chand Barel, his older brother's son.
Okay.
So he had done some Amway kind of business in India. So he's kind of learned how to speak that motivational style. So I'd say he speaks in that way. But anyway, so there is a little poem that we teach these little kids when we, I guess your daughter Amitji kind of joined later on, but initially there is a poem, Shuddhatam hai mera naam. I wonder if it is in our course. Did we have that in Balbot?
no.
No, I don't know where that poem is. Or maybe there are some other books that we teach these little kids. उसमें आता है शुद्धात्म है मेरा नाम मात्र जानना मेरा काम. क्या है वहां पर, नहीं खांसी
That
नहीं
sounds
जुकाम.
familiar. I think we might have seen it in Balboth. Maybe.
It's a little poem which is quite interesting. So from very small age, as soon as the kid starts talking, you teach them these poems to kind of give him a sense of associating with the soul. So anyway, so हमको ग्रहित तो निकालना ही है, which is easier, but agrahit is more difficult because we brought it from so many janmas. So that is more difficult to get rid of. But grahit, relatively speaking, is easy, especially if we, use our intellect and logic to it. Then once we get it, we get it. That अब हमें सच्चे देव का स्वरूप समझ गया है. So even if we go to Ganapati, Shiv, at least we won't identify them as a true Bhagwan, true Dev, right? So, and we understand what the true Bhagwan looks like. And when we see, even if we see pictures of Ram with Dhanush, we understand that that is not the true Bhagwan. But Ram in the same posture as any other Tirthankar or any other Arihant, the Ram we worship. Okay. So, okay. So again, Grahit, pehle to Mithya Darshan is the most important one. And then since Gyan and Charitra goes hand in hand, when you have the wrong understanding, automatically then, the knowledge and the Charitra will follow. So, any other questions from this chapter?
No.
So that person is correct. Only those 4 lines are not translated in this Hindi book. The next 4 lines are. The paragraph
Yes.
after that, those 4 lines.
Yes. Everything is translated except the one
Right.
which has
Yeah. Either he puts it after the meaning in parentheses or put it in brackets. Either way would work. So, okay. So, yeah, the terminologies are easy to understand. But, oh, by the way, have you guys been working on those summaries?
Yeah. I'm done with the 3 chapters of Vigyan 1. Not all, but 3 chapters.
By now you should be done with both summaries. Well, actually, you know what? I mean, it's good if you have the time to do one by one chapter. If not, to do the summary because you don't want it to be pages and pages. But basically, you want to grasp the gist of the chapter, which, like I said, was much easier if you would write notes while I'm talking.
Yeah,
It's
but
pretty
still,
much
just all right. Still is a bigger piece. I don't know how to still make it a summary, right?
Which is
Because
okay. See, you're still beginning to learn, right? See, if you think about it, some Panditji like Sanjeev Ji Godha, you can tell him to explain Samay Sar in 500 hours. You can tell him to talk about
yeah.
Samay Sar in 16 hours, 4 hours. So you develop that ability as you grow in the knowledge. So it's okay if you cannot do it right now and your summaries are long, that's fine.
It goes at least 1 page long.
Yeah, which is fine. And they give you 2 to 8 pages of the general guidelines. I mean, they're not saying you cannot go above 8 pages or you cannot go below page. I mean, below is kind of going to be difficult for you guys, but yeah. So, but yeah, eventually you'll get smart at it where as we are talking in class, you'll be writing the gist of that chapter and kind of including it into your summary. And then somewhere I think I have a link where it explains the assignments. I think unless they've changed it, with the summary, you are also to write a myth buster. Like any day-to-day things that you were doing, and now your understanding has changed, and that may possibly cause you behaving differently or thinking differently. So they want you to mention those also. All right. So only Amitji's started doing it. Nobody else has.
No, we
I
started.
completed the summary for VV1
Yeah, me too.
And Namokar
for
Mantra.
all chapters.
I have done the Navkar Mantra Anushilan 3 chapters. So I'm doing chapter wise. So I've done a summary of 3 chapters.
Okay. So if you notice, when we did them in the class, you know, whoever, well, we did it, of course, a little longer because we were talking about stories also. But the parts that I spoke, the gist of those, each of those chapters, I mean, that should be enough for summaries. You can mention briefly the story where you connect with the child and what is the point he's trying to make in that chapter. And that should be enough for the
Yeah.
but story, yeah, you should mention because they will ask you questions about the stories also in the exam. So, okay.
Auntie ji, when is the first exam? हमारा
July
पहला exam
1st. They will
July
be
1st.
July. They will give you 1 week once they open the exams, but you have to do it in one sitting of 5 hours. The exams are not too long, but they just give you enough time because when you're new to this, some hopefully 70-80% of the test you should be able to do without looking at the books, but then there will be some questions where you wouldn't be sure, in which case then you're having to read the whole chapter sometimes, or so, which can take time. So
July 1st
it's fun.
July 1st week में तो Jaina है.
So that's why they give you a whole week.
Ah.
So choose to take the exam and then go to Jaina and then
Okay.
come back, and the later part of that. So second exam again will give you a whole week. So then you can give that exam towards the end of it. So
I'm away actually.
yeah,
All
I
of
try
us.
to tell my students to not plan like 2-week vacations during that July month. I mean, Jaina is
Prabhaji, there will be separate papers for all the subjects, or it will be just in one?
Oh, one paper will be, remember I said just assignments, they correlate to the paper. So assignment 1 is VV1 and Namokar Mantra. So paper 1 will have, and I think your syllabus that is put in the group description says how much percent questions will be from VV1 and how much percent. I think it's 80-20%, something like that. So 20% questions from Namokar Mantra and 80% from VV1.
Yeah.
And same thing, paper 2 will be VV2 and Shakahar. And then VV3 will be a paper by itself.
Okay. Total 3 papers, you mean, right?
Total 3 papers. And they put them 1 week apart. So then you can kind of adjust your time, you know, so in 1 week, you can get a weekend. So people who are working, they want to do it on weekend, that's okay. And if you think your weekend is busy, people who are going for Jaina, long weekend, whatever, then they can choose to do it on a weekday evening before they go and do the second paper after they come back. Who all is going to Jaina?
हम लोग जा रहे हैं.
Yeah, I'm going to Jana, not Jaina, the Jana, Jana.
And Jana's in the same place, right? It's also in Chicago, I think, same time.
Unfortunately, they have a conflict this time. We normally do both and Jana, because Jana is every year, Jaina is every other year. But this year, they overlap the dates. So we would come towards the end, I think the last day, 1 day of Jana, because we already paid for Jaina before we knew this, that they were going to overlap the dates. Normally, they're supposed to do Jana before Jaina. They finish it off and then Jaina starts. But I don't know what the reason is. They will overlap. Okay. Is this your first time for Jana?
The second time. I came the first time in last Toronto. That was the first time for me.
I was there in Toronto.
Yeah, I don't recollect your face, right? I don't know why. I don't.
You connect or talk, it's difficult to remember
Yeah,
the faces.
correct.
In fact, me, would have remembered. I probably came up to the stage to talk about Paramahansa honors. So if you were there
I
at that
remember that, but somehow I don't remember your face. I remember about that's how I came to know Parma Honors. Immediately, right, that night itself, I went ahead and registered, right? And
Oh,
that's
yeah,
so
that
maybe
was
you
more
were the
for
reason I
that
came to know
club.
about it, but I can still relate your face, right, to that Parma Honors talk. I don't know why. Right, I've seen many faces, right, because everybody was new to me, right? So that could be the reason. But yeah, I registered during that Jana only, right? The Paramaga honors. That's how I put into the prospective batch. Then I waited for entire kind of a year to be completed, right? For this to start.
Yeah, it's always juggling the times, and yeah, it's a tough job.
Yeah.
They try, but they can always possibly provide all timings. It's difficult for them to kind of accommodate that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's why they told me, because I guess a couple of people, probably Dinesh was trying for a while. So then they finally said, we cannot get a teacher. Can you do it? I was like having a hard time
Yeah,
starting.
I remember Dinesh and me were the one who were asking a
Yeah,
lot of questions right on that prospective group. Do you have a US batch? Do you have a US batch?
yeah. Yeah, and it is tough for me because I'm like confusing the hell out of this labeling. I'm messing up because I'm teaching two Sem 1 classes at the same time. So and then my fourth year batch also, I'm getting myself confused all over the place. And that's why I'm going to need a lot of help from you guys, team leaders.
Sure.
So,
So it's Monday and Wednesday,
you-
1 hour in the morning, is it? For you?
yeah,
Semester.
that one. But then, because it's the same book, they are just 2 chapters ahead of you.
Oh, okay.
So brain has to again adjust. So and because they started a week earlier than you guys, I was, I think, away before you guys could start. Anyway, just to make sure, are you in the team leaders group, by the way? Have you been added?
I'm in the team leaders group, right? I'm going to
Okay.
send that Excel sheet, right, with all the names, right, of our team members, right? That
Yeah,
was
now that the exams are coming sooner, they will have announcements that you will have to copy and paste into the group for the rest of the
okay.
group.
Yeah, I'll do that. I'm going to send that.
Okay.
I've
So we're
already
not
done.
going to start a new chapter because there's only a few minutes left. So next class we'll try to finish Macon Who and hopefully Bharavrat, both of them.
So we only have up to chapter 5. Uske baad mein, is the rest of it translated, or should we go back?
She's in the process of
okay.
reviewing.
Otherwise, I have this other book too, and we have the Hindi one also. But
yeah, we are trying to phase you into the ChatGPT version because the flow is better. I mean, not that you cannot reference that one, but like Safalta just pointed out, some phrases are actually misguiding because the English used is slightly off there. But yeah, in the absence of that, you're welcome to use it. That's not a problem. And actually, it will be a while before we print these books because we would want a couple of batches to have taught with the PDFs before we print the books because we don't want to print with mistakes. So, and no matter how much we review, still when we are actually teaching, then we catch, subtle mistakes like these. And so it's important to do that. And I think you guys, since you have them both, you can probably tell that some things feel a little more comfortable in the ChatGPT version. So it's fine. I mean, you guys can give me feedback. That's the reason we are kind of redoing all the books, even though some of them were available already in English. So, okay. Anybody from Chicago here? Not. You guys are mostly from Canada, right? Bahubali ji and Amit ji, are you from Toronto, Amit ji?
No, I'm from Charlotte, North Carolina.
Oh, Charlotte. Okay.
I'm from Texas.
Okay.
I think Dinesh, Deepali, Safal, they are Canada, right?
yeah,
Arun.
Dinesh Purad, yeah, we're all from Canada.
Canada, right?
Okay. All right. So yeah, hopefully at some point you guys should all meet in either Jaina or Jana or whichever one. So Amitji, what did you feel with Jana in Toronto? Were you able to make sense out of
So
everything, or it was
I
going?
was way too newbie on this, right? So even the basic terminology like Samyak Darshan, right? Mithyatva was not there, right? So it was difficult for me, right? Because you saw how Samaisar they would take a particular
Oh
verse
yeah,
or something, right? And they will start. Right. Initially, I couldn't even understand anything, right? But this book really helped me, right? The uh, Oh, I forgot the name of the book. Sorry, give me a minute. Yeah, the Jain Tattva Parichay, right?
Oh
Ujjwala
yes,
Ben's
that's a very
book,
good book. That's a
right?
very
Because
good
that
book.
is the book how I got to know about this, and that's how the interest germinated, right? And that's how I came to know about Jana, right? And
Oh,
now Prabha
really?
Mohnot, right? Everything then connected, right?
Yeah,
So
you can keep
then,
coming, even though I know half of the things you will be lost without having much background. But then
yeah,
taking this course will definitely help you, to
yeah.
understand those
Yeah,
things
I was
better.
recording everything that I found, like even Pudgal. Okay, what is Pudgal? Let me write it down. Pudgal. Now I can search,
Great.
right? And
Yes.
that's how initially
And
it was
now
tough.
the good thing being so many things are online, and now Google has also learned these terminologies because of ChatGPT and so much influx of information that you're
Yeah.
able to easily find the meanings also. Yes, before if you put Pudgal, you probably wouldn't get much out of it, but now
And,
you're
and
getting.
it comes like Atma, right? Would be in Hinduism as well, right? So everywhere, everything is just a hodgepodge, right? Now in ChatGPT, I can put something in Jainism. It gives a very precise one, right? So
By
ChatGPT
the
has
way,
really
there
changed
is
everything.
also something called Jane GPT. Try that
Yeah,
out.
yeah. You only told, I think so, in some
Yeah,
class.
I mean, initially I'd asked the kid who came up with it if we could use it for translation, and he said, no, it's not made for that. But I think that person is now refining it to at least, get the terminologies and their meanings correct. So try it out,
Mm.
see what you think about it. So, okay.
Yeah, let's put
Sahajan.
Mati Gyan in that. Sorry.
शुद्ध स्वरूपी अविनाशी हूँ आत्म स्वरूप सहजानंदी शुद्ध स्वरूपी अविनाशी हूँ आत्म स्वरूप सहजानंदी शुद्ध स्वरूपी अविनाशी हूँ आत्म स्वरूप निज निधि निज में बताई यह अनंत उपकार है इसके लिए जिन वाणी माँ को वंदना शत बार है वंदना शत बार है। जय जिनेन्द्र सभी को।
Jai Jai.
Hey, Jinan.